I am ready.
And welcome to this final evening of week number 2 of the Link to the Past Randomizer League Season 3. I'm Adirondack, being joined by JP, and we bring you the second of the match between the Pug Trio and the Sexy Ganons. Who do we got?
Under a restream with commentary.
We have Fouton versus Phant.
Going to be over on Speed Gaming 4.
Yeah, these two, we got Fouton of the Pug Trio, Phant of
By
the
the
Sexy
time you
Ganons.
receive this, it should probably...
We are getting bonus commentary right now.
Yes, we are. Hopefully that will... I mean, we as much as we'd like to have a third commentator, I think we prefer to commentate ourselves, so I'm sure we'd hear some interesting things.
I'm curious what is in Fouton's exciting folder.
Yeah, he's been sitting here for a bit. I didn't want to worry his stream's not working, but you see the counter in his bottom right corner is advancing.
I love the fact that time that's in the bottom right corner is the actual time as opposed to what's supposed to be the 10-minute delay.
Yeah, well, that's actually just the thing with the SD to SNES. It doesn't keep the time very well.
Yeah, but it's just funny the fact that it's at the actual time we're at right now as opposed to 10 minutes ago. Like, it could be the improper time, but it chooses to be that improper time.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and introduce both of these runners now that they've introduced themselves to us.
All right, so we got Fouton, who's this is actually he's played 3 times. This is his 3rd time playing in the 2 weeks. He played both games week 1. Now he's also playing this one.
And we're also underway. And we got ourselves a Kane and Samaria inside of the Sanctuary, and we get the... Oh, whoa, okay. How about that for a start, JP?
I looked away for just a second.
We have both Kanes. Kane and Berna at Link's house, Kane and Samaria at the Sanctuary.
That is nice. Well, I mean, the Samaria is nicer than Berna, but Berna you'll always take, of course, for the invincibility.
It's just an interesting coincidence here, and we do see that the bush crab's going to be dropping 5 rupees, which will be good. And oh, that's a nice tree pull right there, getting the 4 bombs as we head on over towards the uncle, and we get some more bombs because why not?
Yeah, it seems like you either rains bombs or it's bombs start at the start of a seed.
I didn't see what was up there. And given the early start here of the bombs, we are going to see Fouton go ahead and do a little Hyrule Castle to begin things.
Yeah,
And more bombs for Phant.
Yep, it's raining bombs.
Hallelujah. Where's this kind of start for us?
Well, I mean, the same. On one respect, it's nice, and the other, it's like I want something more than bombs. But bombs are good. I mean, Fouton's heading to escape. Most of these runners are practiced in bomb escapes from a tournament about a year and a half ago now.
Mm-hmm. I'm slowly getting back to the way I was back in the first tournament with that first room, the map room inside there. Hey, we got music. And as far as Phant is concerned, we're going to be heading on over towards the Kakarika village. Let's go ahead and see what we have in those plentiful chests. And for Fouton, it's time to see which way this guard wants to walk.
Okay, he was very kind there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And this room here is pretty standard once you get the idea of where to lay down your bombs.
Yeah, that green guard room, a lot of runners will just almost kamikaze the guard just to
Yeah.
get him down.
Mm-hmm. Which works until the guard decides he's going to go ahead and poke you with a stick.
Looks like only blue mail in blind hideouts, which you'll still take. That's a nice upgrade early.
And also magic powder, which is also a nice safety. And if we find the hammer, we could check magic bet. Well, if we get a little bit of magic, we could, but that's not a guarantee here in Kakariko Village. And you go ahead and defeat a guard to get the big key to unlock the map.
Well, the early escape plate doesn't pay off for Fouton.
And there's the red cane for Fouton, and there is the flute for Phant right here in Kakariko Village.
We'll get some nice fast travel early.
We got ourselves our first map check, and I did see crystals at both Eastern and Desert Palace.
No money for Bottle Vendor yet, as Phant activates the flute.
Sitting at 70 rupees, he probably will try to find a way to loop in the Bottle Vendor. And
yeah, with the flute, though, it's not as big of a deal. You can always come back. Oh, but there's a... I guess that's a tier 2 tree pull with red rupees, so Fouton will get it.
yeah, killing the 4 enemies plus taking a hit of damage gets you that second tree pull. As we go ahead and see what we have inside of the chicken coop, 70 rupees to Phant's name, and add 50 more, he can now purchase what is at the Bottle Vendor.
Yeah, I was gonna say earlier, with the flute, it's not as big of a deal if you don't check Bottle Vendor right away, because you can just flute there at any time. You just don't forget it.
Exactly, because bad things happen when you forget things in this game. Trust me, I will know.
Yeah, I won't bring those up. I know those are sore spots for you.
They keep growing in population, JP.
I mean, I think we all have our nightmare stories we want to go back and not relive.
Those of us who've been playing for this game for at least 4 years know of these horror stories. Moon Pearl was the other thing that we had in Blind's hut, so that's a nice little help. Phant goes and hits the flute. Now does not go and check the Bottle Vendor just yet, so still a mystery in what we have on the Bottle Vendor. Let's just hope he has not forgotten about it. Gets 20 more rupees inside of the dam, and we're going to go ahead and drain some water in just a little bit. So let's go ahead and bring up the Sexy Ganons while we're waiting for our next check. The Sexy Ganons sent Yagamoth in the first match to face off against Tweety. Words ended up losing in that match, and they ended up doing Phant and Yagamoth in one pairing, and Freddy and Yagamoth in the other pairing. The Freddy-Yagamoth pairing ended up winning against Ace Zero and Hitsuen in week 1 against We Are the Imposters in the co-op mode.
Yeah, at this point, Pug Trio an undefeated 3-0. Sexy Gannon sitting at 1-2.
Yeah, and Pug Trio did a very solid job in the co-ops against my team with the Bomb Squad last week, and we are seeing Phant having a little bit of an issue here with the mini Moldorm Cave, and luckily for Phant right now, that's only 20 rupees he's missing out on at the Bottle Vendor. You always fear that it's going to be something much worse than that when you leave that behind.
Mini Moldorm's in the nice prize pack, giving all the good rewards.
Flippers, a piece of heart, some bombs to replenish the ones that he ended up using, a piece of heart, and another piece of heart. So 3/4 of a heart, but more importantly, the flippers.
Flippers are nice, but rupee count is a little low than you'd like to have for the Zora chicks. So let's see, we got the Ice Rod Cave coming up here.
And so one of the interesting things about this match is that this is the final match and we have the undefeated Pug Trio. But whether or not they're going to be first place or tied for first is yet to be determined because the other team that is currently leading with a 3-0 record is the 2019 Titans Mids of 2019, and they are playing concurrently over on Speed Gaming.
Gonna be interesting to see how this week finishes out for them. I'm sure Puck Trio would like to be undefeated, but we've seen this season so far has been pretty brutal.
And these divisions are not going to be easy. Like, I will be totally surprised if any team is able to run the gauntlet and go a perfect 14-0. Kudos to them if they are able to do so. But the divisions, they are so stacked this year.
In fact, looking through our standings, we only have 3 teams undefeated at this point. Out of 32 teams, only 3 remain undefeated.
And that's Fandrana Drifters over in the Skull Woods division at 4-0.
Yeah, so depending on how the results here go, we could be down to 1 team undefeated by the end of the day.
Fandrana Drifters ended up knocking off CLW. That's the team with Megawatt, Frostbite, and Jet. They will have Team Kappa next week, so it's not going to be a walk in the park in the casual boots week next week.
I don't think there's going to be any walking next week.
That is a very good point there, JP. There will be a little bit of swimming, but they'll be mostly running. Or in my case, bonking.
That too. So it looks like these runners might be trading places at this point, with Phant going to go for the front of Escape. Fouton finishing up the South Shore checks. We only have 1 piece towards Darkworld at this point. We still need either 2 gloves or a glove and a hammer. Or a sword, a lamp, and a cape. Or 2 swords and a lamp.
You're an evil thinker right now, JP, and I like the way that you are thinking.
We gotta cover all the possibilities here.
Well, of course.
We should start to see which way this seat is leaning soon.
Well, it's not going to lead anywhere with that shield.
Maybe lean a little to the right so you can block a few extra things, but that's about it.
So Phant with the Cane of Samaria is going to go ahead and use that as his primary weapon as Fouton makes his way on over towards the Ice Rod Cave.
I think you would have gotten Logic. We still have Saharsla, we have Eastern, we have Agina. We also have, in Logic, the Spectacle Rock Check. And, well, of course, you have Zora area.
Which I think is what Fouton wants to check, but, you know, obviously we're in a rupee crunch at this point in time.
And if you're these runners and you start to get down there where Zora's one of your remaining checks, that's not something you want. If Zora's the answer and there's no good rupee packs out there, this is going to be a little rough. There's a sword.
Yep, that is indeed a sword. When we were going to be able to get it, well, I don't know. We need a book in order to get to that at this point.
Book or 2 gloves and a mirror.
I like the book more because it's just 1 item as opposed to the 3 that you're just mentioning. What does Agina have for us? Absolutely nothing. Although, if Zora is the answer, that's going to help put us closer to the 500 gold that we need.
There's a little bit of synchronization there. It got a little creepy for a second.
Now, here's the problem at this point, and it's, by the way, Red Pendant up there at the Tower of Hera. Here's the problem. Even if we do Houlihan right now, Fouton would only have 405 rupees, because you only get 225 out of the Houlihan. Now, knowing that the second tier tree pole, well, that gives us some direction right there. Knowing that the second tier tree pole is 80 rupees, that's probably an easier grind to make.
That's true. He does have that knowledge, which Phant does not have. And So far,
Nothing
nobody-
at Sahasrala's closet.
Yeah. So Fouton gets that bow. He's going to be able to one-shot Eastern Palace now. Whereas Phant, unless he gets lucky and finds the second bow in Eastern, is likely double-dipping.
I like the chances are for Fouton at this stage as opposed to Phant finding a second bow at this point. But who knows? Brando's going to Brando.
But conversely, Phant has not been up to the Zora area yet, and if he waits till he gets 500 rupees, and there's something on Zora, that's going to be something that's going to take Fouton a while to get back to.
Watch Zora have the lamp.
That would just be mean.
It'd be mean, but it's totally in logic at this point.
It is. That is true. Of course, depends on the Eastern layout if you need the lamp or just a fire rod in here.
You're right. Although that map doesn't give me much promise.
So yeah, these runners coming in with 6 hearts, blue mail. It's not bad setup. They have a cane to get them through the dark rooms.
You know, I wasn't even thinking of the Can Samaria for the Dark Room, which is definitely a whole lot better than just wielding away your arrows. Wow, map and compass in the first two.
So, yep, you gotta open every chest in here, basically. Which means there is an item on Armos that Fouton can get to, but Phant cannot.
Which also means there's going to be 2 lamp-blocked chests at this point.
Yes, 2 of these items, regardless of how they appear, will be lamp locked.
All right.
Well, there's
And
3.
the big key is going to be in its vanilla location at this stage. That 300 puts Phant at 440. It will give Fouton enough rupees to go ahead and do Zora, but Zora's one off at this stage for Fouton. You wouldn't make that move.
Exactly. Yeah,
Unless it's your last location.
Yeah, like as I mentioned, Fouton is very little incentive to go back up there now.
Absolutely.
Versus Phant, who has a nice incentive to head back there.
Phant's doing a very good job getting through this without even using any sort of weapon.
These rooms with some... Oh, he got a little off track there. He's down to 2 hearts, which means the damage boost in this next room he's got to pull off perfectly.
He's got Can of Burn, but he doesn't have a whole lot of magic to use it at this stage.
And he's going to play it safe.
Makes 100% understandable, and he finally gets it with 1 heart remaining. A little scary there.
Yeah, if you do that optimally, it only costs you a heart and a half. But yeah, that's definitely it's scary at this low health.
And a red rupee, and remember, Phant does not have the bow, so this is a complete stop point for him, regardless of how he feels about the dark room.
So Phant needs 40 rupees for Zora. See how he decides to play this.
Now, he does know that the bush crab drops 5s. That would give him at least close enough if he played his cards right, but...
And worst case scenario, there was a 20 on the ledge.
A lot of time spent trying to get that, but you don't want to have to double back to Zora.
Now, Fouton with the bow is gonna go for Armos Knights. He's gonna have to go through one of the worst dark rooms in the game.
Because of how many enemies are in this room.
Yeah, in terms of layout, this is an easy dark room. But the enemies, if they get off track, you...
Oh, yeah.
Trouble.
And we almost saw it right there with the arrow hitting one of the wavy things as opposed to the Igor. But he was through that beautifully. This is Darkroom experience showing right now for Fouton.
Well, I think Phant might be a little off track in the dark room here. He's gonna use bombs to get him through it.
He does get through it.
Just 10 arrows for his trouble. As Fouton takes on Armos.
Yep, 5 arrows fired over towards the right, and now head on down. Watch them all hit into the arrows and get the Quake Medallion.
Not a bad pickup. We'll see if that's needed later. It's not something that's going to lose Phant.
JP, we are down to 2 places that are in Logic right now, and Phant's about to check one of them. That's a glove on Spectacle Rock.
That's mirror locked.
And there's the lamp!
Well, that could actually do something interesting. That could be the key to get to the back of Escape.
Yes.
If there's a small key in the Dark Cross chest.
Or just even if there's an item in the Dark Cross. Like, for instance, we could have mirror inside the Dark Cross to get you that glove.
Well, Fouton is heading back up to Zora. He's not going to last location this.
I am surprised, actually, but actually, he only has 2 checks himself remaining at this point. Because he checked Agina a little while ago. So his 2 checks are either go up the mountain and see what's in Spectacle Rock, or go back to Zora.
So, let's see. Phant's gonna go get Agina, get his 20 rupees.
Yep.
He'll probably eventually go back up to Zora to get his bow.
And the hook shot. Oh, that is good for Fouton. He just lucked out with that, because that now allows him to one-shot the entire light world of the mountain, with exception of the Tower of Hera. Oh, well, as well as the Spectacle Rock itself on top of it, but still a fantastic find for Fouton.
Yeah, so far Fouton's route's been paying off a little bit better.
Absolutely.
Falling behind a bit at this point.
Yeah, because right now Phant is not getting lucky. This is the case where you're just not getting lucky because of the way that you're checking things. Not getting the bow meant that you had to double up here with the Eastern Palace. Now we know that the lack of the movement that he has means he's going to be doubling up the mountain as well. And again, this is the kind of things that just come into luck.
Did Fouton try to go for the old man? I think he got a little off track in there and had to save and quit out. Thankfully, he had not picked up the old man yet. Otherwise, he'd have to work his way out.
Yeah, he'd be right back at the old man. And he's going to try again. This time, use the Cane of Samaria to kind of help him through. And Phant, with a perfect 500 rupees, is walking his way to Zora.
He's picked up his bow. He's about to pick up his hook shot, too. He forgot he has flippers.
I hear the keys, which means Fouton's on the right path. And he's out the door.
So for Phant, if he had just straight back up Death Mountain, which I expect he... maybe not.
Interesting decision to flute here. And he's going back to Eastern. He's going to finish that off.
I was going to say, if he went up Death Mountain at this point, which I would have probably done, I would have left Eastern alone right now and just hoped I find Mir later and I can just double it up with Pod. But he's going to go back...
One item versus...
Yeah,
I was going to say 1 item versus 8.
Exactly. Like, at this point, you've got 8 items on Death Mountain. You might as well go for that instead. So, I mean, it is a crystal dungeon he's doing, so he has to do this at some point. It's just a matter of trying to be as efficient with it as possible.
Yeah. And when you're facing off against Pug Trio, the amount of talent that's on this team between Andy, Weighty Words, and Fouton, they're a team that you really don't want to give them extra time to mess around with.
Yeah, exactly. As you mentioned already, Fouton's starting to pull ahead here. There's still plenty of race to go, but the more time you give them, the more they're just going to pull ahead. So you got to be very careful here.
Absolutely. And now we know Phant and Fouton are both very, very familiar with this randomizer. They've been playing this for a long time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Not sure. Like, I'm not fully sure how long they've been around, but I know they've been around as long as I've been around, at least.
And how long have you been around?
Actually, probably closing on 3 years now. Now I think about it. Actually,
Which is a lot of experience.
Yeah. I actually had to think about it. I think it's best I go by one of my channels I subscribe to, which is closing in on 3 years, which is about the same time.
Which is still a long time playing this game.
Yeah.
There's our first sword. So if we get a magic cape... Oh, there's a hammer. I was going to say, if we get a magic cape, that opens up the possibility of Aga 1.
And I'd say both possibilities are about equal at this point, because we're one item away either way.
But what that hammer does immediately for us, it opens up 2 checks. One, the Tower of Hera, which I wouldn't be surprised to see Fouton at least dip into first, and that's exactly what he's doing. The other is Magic Bat.
That does open up Magic Bat. With the flute, it's not as bad to get back there.
Absolutely, it just puts him in logic right there. And there's the Quake for Phant to finish us off with Eastern. We are still at 1 crystal apiece.
Chat brings a Spike Cave. Nope, Spike Cave is not in logic until we get a glove.
Yep. And we know where there's 1 pair of gloves. And we find the big key, so we don't have to go down to the basement just yet. It looks like Fouton's setting himself up for a chance to bomb himself into this spot here. It's not the Moon Pearl that is the issue with regards to Spike Cave. It's the fact that once you go through Spike Cave, you have to lift up the rock. And in order to lift up the rock, you need to have a glove. I remember Patty, when he was in one of the tournaments, wound up making that mistake.
It's an easy one to forget about.
Yeah, it is. And here's Fouton. He's going to go ahead and just take a dive down to the 3rd floor. I'm surprised maybe he was thinking maybe doing a bomb jump at that point, but I don't know what that thing is called.
Yeah,
the sparkly thing.
I don't know. I've actually never heard the name for it now I think about it.
Something similar to a Mario World enemy.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking about. But,
yeah.
Alright. Fouton gonna take on Moldorm with a hammer. It's just 3 hammer strikes.
3 hammer strikes? And hope that Moldorm doesn't give you a how do you do down the floor, which he almost did.
Yeah, that was
twice. There we go. 3 hammer hits down. Goes Moldorm. Yeah, we get a compass.
And there's an item in the basement.
Yeah, there's an item in the basement. So now you have to ask yourself, do you go downstairs and spend 45 seconds watching tiles be flung at you? Or do you go to Spiral Cave?
You have to do in this situation, you have to do the basement. You cannot leave it behind.
Yeah, I totally get that. It's a long time to walk back up that mountain.
Especially without the mirror. Yeah, you cannot leave this behind right now.
The question is, does Phant make the same decision knowing that he's now headed 2-shot Eastern?
I think Phant will because he's just been thorough so far.
What do you think we're finding here, JP?
I think we're gonna find a second sword. This seed is just leaning so much towards an Naga seed. I mean, the hookshot flipper combo. It just makes me think. Sorry,
can I think mischievously here?
Go ahead.
The book. It's the mirror. It is a required mirror too.
Get that glove so that kills Aga.
That's our Dark Road access right there too. It's kind of an annoying path to have to go this, because now you have to delay your trip into Spiral Cave just a little bit here. We find out our other pendants are going to be the Thieves Town for the green pendant, and the blue pendant is up at Turtle Rock.
That's an interesting combination.
So now that he's picked up his glove and had to spend a few moments rerouting his way around to Spiral Cave, here goes Fouton into Spiral Cave. So now we know the Phant, if he winds up delaying this trip downstairs in the basement, he's going to be in for a lot of hurt.
Yeah, if he doesn't go downstairs, that's massive advantage for Fouton, because just to get back here, especially without the mirror, is so painful.
That's the worst item to have there too. And we see Phant taking a drop from Moldorm. Fouton getting just a piece of heart. I would have been really, really scared if that turned out to be some sort of progression there for Fouton in Spiral Cave, because that would be the last thing that these sexy Ganons want, is to see progression there to steer him away from that basement.
Yeah. Phant's already taken 2 falls to Moldorm. He's got to be a little bit on tilt right now.
Yeah, and that's the toughest thing to do when you're on tilt, is to calm yourself down enough so you can get yourself back into a combative spot. But you need to be patient with this Moldorm. And he was a little too fast with that third hammer, but was able to get the hammer onto him afterwards to finish him off and claim the red pendant. As Fouton's checking his hype cave. What do we got in here, JP?
Start with the piece of hearts, and then we've got 20 rupees, Titan's mitts, piece of heart, and piece of heart.
And thankfully, Phant is going back inside.
Now, for Fouton, I kind of looks like he might want to go towards Pod at this point, but maybe not. Oh, he's gonna go Swamp. Interesting. It is full clearable at this point, so it makes sense.
It's full clearable and a 5/6.
You're right, yeah. I think Phant might have not. Oh, he's stuck. He's got a mirror. Oh, he can't mirror. He's got to die. He got a little just too far off on his on setting that up, and he got stuck.
He got stuck. Yeah, that's the worst place to get stuck.
That was heads up for him, because he knew he had to take the death. Otherwise, he would have had to save and quit.
Which would have taken him away from here, and that's unfortunately going to cost him a little bit more time. Now, you see Pug Trio left the swamp area. So, I'm wondering exactly how Fouton's going to play this out now.
He's going to get the second
He's going to lose that mirror portal. Yeah, he's getting that second sword. And give us the answer whether or not you need to have the boots in order to beat Desert.
Chet's saying they didn't catch the Myrmidon. I wasn't paying attention either.
I was not paying attention either.
But if it is Quake, that's also full clearable right now.
Ew. we do need the boots in order to beat Desert. And we can't do anything in Desert at all. So now Phant is going to go ahead and claim his gloves.
Well, is Fouton going to show us what Meyer is?
Yep, it's
okay.
Ether.
So, Chad was talking about what we need for Gomo, and I think we're 3 items at this point now. Fire Rod, Boots, and Ether.
Mm-hmm. Only one of those items, I think, can be on the pedestal. Well, actually 2 of them. Boots could be on that pedestal, and so too could Ether, but the Fire Rod certainly cannot be at this point. So now that he got that Master Sword, I think now's the point that we probably see him dip into Swamp Palace as he starts right back here at this portal again.
Yeah. Definitely, Swamp makes a lot of sense. It's a dungeon a lot of people would put off, which is why Fouton might like this dungeon a little bit more. Just thinking, if there's something here, there's less of a chance my opponent might go for it right away.
And plus, you already got the Cane of Samaria, which means that you can pull off the Diver Downs, and it's not going to be that big of a pain.
Exactly.
So Fouton's going to be opening up the gate, and we will be making way into the Swamp Palace in just a few moments, as Phant is trailing at this point. And we're getting a real feel for how far back Phant is at this stage.
I mean, for everything he's done, Phant really isn't that far behind.
He's not
basically a Meyer visit behind at this point.
He's not that far behind. However, you can see where the gap is at this point. And it's also not a gap that is insurmountable.
Yeah.
All he needs to do is find the remaining pieces of this puzzle faster than Fouton, and he's got himself a chance. Like, for instance, if he decides to go the Turtle, or not the Turtle Rock, the go into Pendant Thieves Town, and the boots are there, then that gives him a little bit of an advantage at this point, especially now that we know that those are needed.
Well, I think he's thinking the exact same way as Fouton. He's going into Swamp Palace right now.
And there was only one thing that we saw inside of Meyer's shed that could be a thing. We found our first bottle there.
That's true. I have not seen Sick Kid yet. And now, Phant is going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage without the Master Sword, but as long as there's not a Tempered Sword in here for Fouton, it's not that much of a difference.
Yeah.
Argus on Master Sword versus Fighter Sword. Argus on Master Sword is a little faster, but not significantly. Well, not too much faster.
First item inside of this, or rather that chest down there in Swamp Palace, is a heart container. And now we see Fouton getting ready to flood the key, which until this past spring was always a bad thing.
Yep, now there's a nice little new setup for it. And we'll see if Fouton goes for the Samaria setup here or the bomb setup here.
He's got the bomb still out at this point. Has not switched over to the Cane of Samaria, so it looks like he is going to go bomb setup. It's all about knowing where to place your pixels. One of those cases where the more practice you get at it, the better you are. I need a whole lot more practice.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the bomb setup yet. I need to get more familiar with that.
So Phant,
So, from what I've heard, the bomb setup is easier, or not, it's harder to get, but it's a little bit more guaranteed.
Well, the problem with the bomb setup is that you have such a narrow time window to get to get it done right.
That is true.
Can't Samara, you can sit there with that block formed for quite a while as long as an enemy doesn't keep bashing his face into it.
I'm gonna say Phant could make up some time if he skips left side since there was nothing over there, but he is gonna do the left side as well.
Absolutely. At this point in time, this far away, you're gonna go ahead and do this in the optimal way fashion here as Phant pulls off the first setup here for the diver down.
We're gonna see the alternate setup with Phant,
Yep.
the Samaria block.
Yeah, he's going to use the Cane Samaria block, turn over to the right, form it, push it a little bit, dive into the water, come out, and he's in the rail. There we go.
He was, he was also down to one bomb, so that might be part of the reason too.
Yeah. Well, that's a nice place for that big key there as we see Fouton jumping back out of the water because he's going to want to go ahead and check that right now.
And goes right back downstairs.
Yep, thank you very much for getting yourself back into the door, because that's the way this game decides it's going to work. There's a way to get around it, and that's what? Holding to the right when you come off the stairs?
He's holding to the left.
I always thought it was the right, but it's left, or it doesn't matter. Cape turns out to be inside of that chest, and we don't know if that cape's going to be necessary now that Aga's off the tower, off the table.
Aga's off the tower?
Well, he is off the tower. That's why he's in Ganon's tower now.
But he's still in the tower then.
Look at you speaking logic to me.
I think that maybe that's a little too much logic. He's off a tower, he's on a tower. Off a tower on a different tower. I don't know.
I've got a headache now.
Let's get yourself a little water. Might want to avoid the Swamp Palace water, but beyond that, just find some water.
If only I had somebody named Link that could just deliver it to me about 40 feet away. Oh wait, that's the wrong game.
Alright, let's focus as we get back into the Argus fights.
Yeah, we're now getting to combat section here. So, Master Sword, pull two puffs off and go ahead and spin.
Interestingly, Phant is not checking that big chest right away.
We'll have to see if he comes back in for it. Although now seeing that compass, he now knows that there is an item in that chest. That's a beautiful stage 1. And Fouton didn't really know where he wanted to go for his stage 2 attack. I think he may have been looking for a rod that he doesn't have yet.
Four Master Sword spins, Argus is down, and he gets paid for it.
Oh, mini boss here for Phant. And this is one of those times where you don't want to do quick swap.
This one, it really just comes down to what you're most comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
I think Fighter Sword spins and Menu Boss here are about the same time. Personally, I go Fighter Sword spins, but it's really up to you.
It depends on your menuing, honestly. How good are you at menuing? How good are you switching between the hookshot and the hammer? Battles of Darkness coming up next here for Fouton.
Fouton's sticking with the Crystal Dungeons for now.
Absolutely. And that's the normal game plan for a lot of these runners, is that you want to stick to the dungeons that you need to defeat because, well, you have to defeat them, you might as well.
And it's definitely a good move for Fouton, even though he doesn't know he's ahead. As long as he sticks to Crystal Dungeons for now, he's going to be in good shape. And I think the big thing for Phant, as we mentioned before, he just needs to diverge in some way and get something that Fouton doesn't.
Didn't see anything good on the pyramid ledge.
I think it was just 10 arrows. There was a quick question in chat about how getting involved with the tournament, specifically with commentary. Yeah, just join the league Discord, as Rick just typed. That's the best place to go to get all the information you need on how, if you want to help out in this tournament with, or this league with either tracking or commentary or some other rules as well.
I think at this point, Phant was maybe opting to go check something else, but realizes he doesn't have that, and is now going to go into the Meyer region, where he'll get the same news that we found from Fouton earlier as well. I honestly think that Phant is to come back into this race at this point. He's not that far behind, as you mentioned before, but he needs to find something in the place that Fouton isn't at this point. Which is why he may want to decide to hold off doing the Palace of Darkness.
Right now, I expect him. He's gonna check these areas. He's gonna get a sword, find out Desert's boots locked, and then we'll see where he goes from here.
Yeah, he's gonna go ahead and get this Master Sword right now as he mirrors to the Light World, and Fouton finding the first two checks inside of the Palace of Darkness are small keys.
Which is about normal, but with 2 keys, you're going to check this vanilla big key chest.
Yeah.
Depending on if I have boots or not, I route this slightly differently. If I have boots in the bow, I usually do right side first. If I don't, then I'll come in the main entrance first and then go to right side.
Well, there's our first non-key, with the compass being found.
Phant found out the news on Desert. He can't go any further. He's going to go check checkerboard, and we'll see where he goes after that.
And we are going to see Fouton firing off against these mimics and head his way upstairs, where we know that one of these 2 chests is guaranteed to be a key. The other one could be a key, but it could also be something else.
Meanwhile, for now, Phant is going to continue to follow Fouton and head into Palace of Darkness. So, still sticking with Crystal Dungeons, which is good overall. You're getting more crystals done, but still needs to find a place to make up some time.
Yeah, he needs to find something, and like I said, if you're in the behind position, if you continue to follow your opponent, you need to have your execution be above that of your opponent. And right now, I haven't seen anything from Phant that puts him ahead of Fouton on the combat, on the execution standpoint. So
there's still opportunities.
Oh yeah, and there's our ether to get into Misery Mire,
which is likely going to be these runners' next stop. Though, yeah, Misery Mire with what you've currently got, it's doable, but that Vitreous fight is pretty ugly with this loadout.
What if we give him silvers?
Then Mire's an easy choice.
Now, Fouton made an unfortunate error right there. And that is that he didn't check to see how many keys he had. He had 2 going into Harmless Hellway. If you have 3, then that's guaranteed to be not a key. However, when you only have 2, then that was going to be key for key.
Yeah. That's a little nice piece of knowledge to keep in mind. There's definitely... Oh, there's Fire Rod.
So now the question is, we are giving these runners a choice on where to go. Do you go to Misery Mire, or do you go to Skull Woods?
Or do you go to Ice Palace?
Ew.
We're now just a boots away from go mode.
48 minutes in.
Yeah. But yeah, after this dungeon, you're gonna see these runners continue to focus crystals.
Oh, absolutely.
The question is just which crystal do you want to focus first?
Yeah, and this is where maybe, as I was mentioning the earlier thing between Fouton and Phant needing to make a choice that Fouton doesn't. Here's the opportunity for Phant to maybe make that move, because now we have options on where you go. Do you go Ice Palace? Do you do Misery Mire? Do you do Skull Woods? If Fouton chooses one and you choose the other, and that's your go mode, this is a different race.
And looking at these three options, if I think I'm behind, I might go Ice Palace first. If I'm worried about my opponent potentially doing stuff I haven't, I might go Skull Woods. Because those Skull Woods checks can essentially be considered overworld by some.
And there's a reason for Phant to believe that he's behind. He had to double Eastern, because he went in the first time without the bow. Fouton went in with the bow and was able to finish it one trip in. There was also the unfortunate incident with Phant and what happened with the towel room.
Yeah, though I don't know if how much better Fouton's feeling at this point.
Right.
When you get late Dark World like that, it's... In some ways you're like, okay, this was kind of a weird scenario, so I don't feel that far behind, but at the same time, when you're kind of close to last location, if you're not sure about how you feel about your opponent execution-wise, then you might start to feel behind as well.
And that's the thing is, Fouton also checked Hyrule Castle. Both of these runners checked Hyrule Castle. He might be thinking, maybe my opponent didn't check Hyrule Castle, and therefore I'm ahead of that stage. But also Fouton had to double up with his check of Zora. Remember, Phant had one-shot Zora.
There's definitely little different ways that these runners feel ahead and ways that they probably feel behind.
And these things race through your mind when you are in one of these races. And to be sitting here doing a tournament race or a league race, whatever it may be, these things are heavy in your mind.
So Fouton is choosing Ice Palace.
That's the move that you were saying that Phant was going to make in the maybe I'm behind move, but you were just really saying that somebody was feeling behind, they were going to choose that. So now the ball is going to be in Phant's court once he's done with the Helmisar King. As we welcome in those viewers joining us from Speed Gaming 5, we are 51 minutes into this League Week 3 match. Week 2 rather, between the Pug Trio and the Sexy Ganons. Fouton representing the Pug Trio at 3-0, and Phant representing the Sexy Ganons at 1-2. Final day of week number 2. The open mode defeat Ganon. This wouldn't even be a problem next week, by the way, JP.
Oh yeah, next week you get to start with a sword and you get to start with boots. Granted, you've got a forced 5-minute start in the escape sequence, but you at least get the boots to start.
Bombs are the first item inside of Ice Palace.
Now, the one bad thing at this point for these runners is the boots can basically be anywhere except for GT.
That's right.
I'd say it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Phant done with the beetle room, or the turtle room, whatever you want to call those things. I keep calling them beetles, I don't know why. There's the icebreaker, and it yields us our second item of this dungeon, 50 rupees.
If you blinked, you missed it.
I almost blinked, I almost missed it. Lay down block, turn, walk through barrier. There you go, we're done. Takes us longer to actually talk about it. There's the third item. First 3 checks, that's it, we're done.
So yeah, Ice Palace, not the answer, but Fouton is going to get through this really quick. He's already set up to clear this.
Absolutely.
Since he hit the switch.
And he had counted his items, so therefore he knows he does not need to open up another check. Another chest as Phant finishes off with the Helmsar King. We are 3 crystals in, with Fouton working on crystal number 4 right now. Where do you think those boots are, JP?
Where do I think they are? I think they're on the Bombos tablets.
So we need a book.
Yeah.
I like the way you think. And Phant is following suit. Look at this confident play here, although getting hit now. Fouton says, nope, I'm not dying here. I'm going to go ahead and use the blue potion.
So for Fouton, the decision now, Skullwoods or Misery Mire. And I think in this situation, he might go Skullwoods just because, like I said, Mire is still not a really friendly dungeon to go to.
And also you want to try to do Mire together with Desert.
That is true as well.
So I think this is going to be a flute of 3. Yep. And we're going to do Skull Woods, and then we're going to finally see the Village of Outcasts.
We have not seen that, yeah.
Unless we find the boots inside of Skull Woods.
Now, Fouton might decide after Skullwoods to just head straight up to Mire and just continue to follow Crystal Dungeons. That would not surprise me at all as well. Especially since it's easy enough to flute back to 3 to do Village of Outcasts later.
Absolutely. And here is the attempt to do Icebreaker from Phant. Had a little more trouble doing it as Fouton did, but within 10 seconds of each other.
Fouton doing a more traditional route when you can clear Skullwoods middle to back to front.
Gets himself a key. And we're going to be making our way to the back with Mothula. 2 items inside of the Skull Woods. I have a chilling thought, by the way.
What is that?
You know what Misery Mire opens up?
Pyramid Fairy?
Pyramid Fairy.
Oh, you know what we haven't checked as well? We have not checked the back of Escape.
Well, we haven't checked the back of Escape. We haven't checked Quakefish. We haven't checked the Bumper Cave. We haven't checked the Village of Outcasts. Cave 45 hasn't been checked. Stumpy hasn't been checked. We still have a whole lot of things that have yet to be checked.
Which is also scary in this situation, especially if you're one of these runners. Because let's say that those boots end up being in an overworld spot. An easy overworld spot that you waited on. You feel behind. Yeah.
I am sorry I stole your thunder with that.
I still agree with them checking as many crystal dungeons as they can, but let's say those boots are in the back of Escape. You feel really bad.
Oh, yeah. Well, we got a red item, but it's not the boots.
Synchronous crystal grabs, though Fouton's one ahead.
Yes, he is. But he has only found one item inside of this Skullwood, so he's going to be trying to seek out something else at this point, and we will see Phant mirror, and I am going to guess he's going to flute to 3 as well. No!
He's going 6.
He's going!
This is the Meyer play. Now, Fouton follows him to 6. That'll negate what he's doing, but if Phant goes in and Fouton decides to do some overworld first, then Phant's got a chance if the boots are in here.
It all depends on where those boots are located. And as we've been pointing out, there's a lot of possibilities at this stage. This is deviation, and this is exactly what Phant and the Sexy Ganons need at this point. Map. We continue the search as Sexy Ganon's Phant pulling up the bug-catching net, saving the fairy, therefore giving him some extra chances with this upcoming fight with Vitreous.
Not a bad idea at all, especially considering this that Vitreous with lower resources can be rough.
And still another small key has been found by Fouton. And a small key, a compass. We're continuing this search.
This has to be the second item.
Yes, it has to be. And that second item is... Oh!
One
the
arrow.
humanity.
Now, Fouton is going to do some overworld. I think he might be going to Bumper Ledge. Now, if you're a fan of Phant, you don't want boots on Bumper Ledge, because if they are, Phant's pretty much done.
Yeah, he had left behind the big chest inside a swamp palace. And it's 10 arrows. That's good news for Phant.
Yeah, that's very good.
So if you're just tuning in here at the 1 hour mark, we are one item away from go mode at the very minimum. And that is the boots. We need that for the desert ledge. Or not the desert ledge, the desert torch, where the big key is currently in Crystal Desert.
And it's also worth remembering at this point too that that these runners would also like a third sword or the silver arrows.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Piece of heart found inside of Graveyard Ledge. That's not what Pug Trio wants to see there.
And is going straight for the cutscene room. Not in the movie you usually see unless you know the big key is here.
And we know it's not guaranteed to be here because we found a map inside of that one chest.
1 hour in, we're finally seeing the back of Escape.
Heart container, key, and a small, or rather a piece of heart. We know that there's going to be an item at Dark Cross.
Like, if you're Fouton right now, you kind of want to see the boots at the same time. You kind of don't. If the boots are here, you don't know what to think.
And it's a red rupee. The boots are not in Misery Mire, but don't forget this is part of the 5-6 combo that opens up the Pyramid Fairy. Phant wisely picking up the powder to use on the anti-fairy to give himself some life. Being down to 2 hearts inside of Misery Mire is not fun.
So at this point, we now know the answer is not a crystal dungeon.
And with that, Fouton's heading up to the mountain where he's going to be scouting out the Turtle Rock area, Dark Death Mountain.
And this is going to be a decision for Fouton. If he's got the medallion for Turtle Rock, does he go in?
I don't know the answer to this one. You almost have to, but at the same token, this is where you could lose something too.
Yeah, I
don't know.
Fouton's avoiding Meyer for now, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely going to check Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny Cave first. And then he'll have the decision to make if he can go into Turtle Rock, if he doesn't find boots first.
That's red, but it's not the boots. That's red, but it's not the boots. And the only thing we can think of in regards to Fouton and why he's not in Misery Mire at this point is because he wants to do Misery Mire together with Desert. And that's an evil rupee count at this point. And
couldn't see that, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't the boots.
it definitely wasn't the boots.
Chat's saying silver's on the floating islands.
We're being told that those are silver arrows up on the floating island.
If that's the case, Fouton's definitely picking them up. Yeah.
That's going to help him out with the fight against Vitreous by far.
Oh yeah, that definitely is going to help him. But he's still going to have a...
It looks like Phant's going to the go ahead and attack all as much as you can. Problem is that when you use the cane at Burna, you don't get the same stop timer like you would with the cape. Not that it's going to matter anymore for Fouton now that he has the silvers.
Yeah, this is going to be a faster Vitreous fight for Fouton when he gets here. So, Phant really needs to find some extra time to make up, which could happen if Fouton goes into Turtle Rock.
He can!
And he's going to. No, he's not. He faked this out.
And now he's going to go into Misery Mire. Or not.
He's just faking us out over and over.
He's going to the village. And Phant is done with Misery Mire. Does not get anything more than 70 rupees out of it. But we have to see what's at the Pyramid Ferry. Now, here's extra incentive for Phant, by the way. He never checked Pyramid Ledge. He went right straight for the Palace of Darkness from Fluting to 5. So he's got an extra check that Fouton doesn't by way of Pyramid Ferry.
I think at this point we've hit the point now where the divergence is enough that this can go either way.
But Phant is not doing Pyramid Ferry just yet. Oh, he remembered that he hadn't checked Bottle Vendor. Wow. And here we go into Thieves' Town.
I think Phant's teammates might be talking to him about Bottle Vendor after this race.
Big key, a compass. Those are the first 2 checks inside of this Thieves' Town.
It's worth remembering this Thieves' Town is a 5-check Thieves' Town because of green pendants.
That's disgusting.
Phant has gone back to following Fouton, but he will get ahead in the crystal count potentially. But if Fouton finds boots, then he takes that advantage.
Mm-hmm. That's a 2-item first 4, and
He's
that
out.
is enough for Fouton to say, I'm out of here.
So there's an opportunity for Phant if he decides to go into Thieves' Town and continue on.
That's a piece of heart for Fouton.
I'm really starting to wonder when Fouton's going to go for Meyer. I'm really surprised he has not gone there yet.
Well, he's gonna go for a bottle, or rather a sick kit at this point. See what that one bottle we found outside of the Myers shed, what it leads to. And it turns out that leads to
300
cash
rupees.
money. Kid's got a bigger allowance than I do.
And I think at this point, if you're the runners, you're starting to get worried.
Yes, you are. Because how long have we now been one item away from go mode?
Ever since Pod, so probably a good 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. You start to get a little uncomfortable when the well dries up and you're still searching endlessly for that one item.
And with it being the boots being that one item, you really don't want that to be your last location, because if your opponent finds those early, then you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm. More rupees being found right here inside of K45. And the next check for Fouton is going to be at Stumpy.
I think Fouton's plan here is going to check Stumpy, then dig game, then do the Smith chain.
Yeah, makes sense. And we complete heart container number 14 for Fouton as Phant ties things up. Or rather, he actually has the lead.
Count. Yeah, he's ahead in the crystal count now, 6-5. But I think Fouton still has more checks that he's done.
Yeah. Alright, dig game. Any number between 1 and 30 can be where the item turns out to be. When you're playing this, you hope it's 1. And if you're ever playing multi-world, God, you're hoping it's not 30 when your friends are sending you items. It's red mail.
More red items that are not the red item you're looking for.
These are not the droids you're looking for, JP.
Phant still has the front of Skullwoods that he's likely going to full clear.
Yeah, at this point, you've got to get that second item.
Fouton going to do the Smith chain. If you're Phant right now, well, even though you don't know where you're at, if you're Phant though, you don't want Fouton finding these boots before you do. You want at this point for Phant, the best thing is for Fouton to go to Meyer, because that's some time he'll use up that Phant can do some more checks in.
Mm-hmm. Because if Fouton finds these boots, he's gonna one-shot the Meyer Desert combo.
So yeah, if you're a Phant fan, you don't want the boots on the Smith chain.
Green bottle, that is bottle number 2, but since we don't really need that. We're all good and fine in that department.
We have another check coming up that we've been putting off. The magic bat.
Yeah, I suppose I can see what the problem with that is. Yeah, you gotta leave the building first and then go talk to him.
He did, but he didn't go far enough in to put the Smith back in.
Well, that's what I meant. Answer's not there on the breadsmith, so we continue our search at this point.
So what is Phant's next decision?
Yeah, this is where it really becomes dicey, and we're gonna see him check the same things we probably saw Fouton check. And magic bat! It's red! What, JP?
Not what you're looking for.
Exactly.
So for Phant, he's likely gonna... He might do the exact same thing Fouton did. Check Graveyard Ledge and go into the back of Escape. Like I said, if you're a fan of Phant, after Fouton drops his chest off, you want him to go into Mire.
Yeah. And without the boots in hand. Or on your feet, rather.
Mm-hmm.
And that's red.
But not the red you're looking for.
Thank you.
And here's Fouton's
There
Mire.
it is. Yep, there it is.
So this is time Phant has to catch up to big checks and get closer to Fouton.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And there's one advantage here that Phant has that he hasn't checked yet, and that is the magic, or the Pyramid Fairy.
That's the one thing that Phant hopefully will do, if you're a fan of Phant, is check that Pyramid Fairy before Fouton does.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. The Sexy Ganons next week get the Komodo Hypers in the Casual Boots week. Komodo Hypers ended up splitting this week's series against the Bomb Squad. Ferami ended up beating me, and Kyung ended up losing to F. Coughlin in week number 2. For Pug Trio next week, they get We Are the Imposters.
Now I feel like the We Are the Imposters predates Among Us, but I don't remember. I think that was their team name last season, so that might predate it.
We'll have to ask A0, Waterloo, and Hitsuen that question. We Are the Imposters currently 1 and 2. However, one of their matches is currently in progress, racing right now at this very same time.
Chat's saying it is a new team name this year. So never mind. That's not predating that.
Yeah, but they were playing here last year. Or last season.
Yeah, but I think between the Invitational and the Open League, we do have quite a few Among Us references.
Oh yeah, for certain.
Right.
So
Phant is continuing with checks that Fouton's done.
Yep.
If he goes into Thieves Town, it's going to be interesting to see if he chooses to, which he is. Will he do the same thing Fouton did? Front 4 and leave? Or will he full clear?
Really depends on where you feel like you are in this seed. Like, you really want to believe that if you're going to go ahead and full clear something, that you're the first person doing it. And with him having the Y button set to mirror, I am not confident that he's going to go beyond this first 4.
It might just depend on how many he picks up here.
Yeah, he's got. You get. There's two items inside of this first 4.
Yeah. And with 3 in the back, essentially, 2 plus green pendants.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of a coin flip. I think you could go either way.
Nope, he's not doing it.
So both runners have left behind the back of Thieves Town.
Yeah, this is going to be something if it turns out to be the boots or the item that leads to the boots. Are back there in the back of Thieves Town.
Now this routing for Phant actually kind of works out. He can finish up Village of Outcasts, grab the Smith, do the Smith chain, take the Smith chain into a Pyramid Fairy check, and then from there even go to a Catfish check. Yeah,
Boots on making his way over to here. And he will pick up his big key in just a moment.
hour 17 in now. Still in that boots hunt. These runners, I guarantee you, these runners do not feel good right now.
Yeah. We've been on boot hunt now for 30 minutes. Well, we've been on it for longer than that, but that's been the only thing we've been looking now for 30 minutes now.
Yeah. And the longer you go without finding these boots, the worse you feel. Especially now that you're basically done with dungeon checks and you're moving on to overworld checks.
You know the amazing thing about not having the boots in Misery Mire?
What's that?
No spooky.
Oh, that's true.
But, you know, Fouton is going to save a lot of time on this Vitreous fight.
Yeah, he is going to save quite a bit. But after this, it'll basically be a crystal tie with Fouton just having some extra checks done.
Yeah. And that is primarily going to be this Breadsmith chain. And K45 too, Stumpy. Yeah, there's plenty of things here that fans still got to get done.
Yeah, unfortunately, that advantage you could have had by checking Pyramid Fairy first is almost gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're Fouton, what's your choice? What are you
Flute
doing?
to 4. You flute to 4. You check that Pyramid Fairy and go to Catfish. And there it is, the flute to 4.
So yeah, despite Phant having Pyramid Fairy access first, looks like Fouton's going to be the first one to get to it.
Yep. And now, Phant checking Magic Pad. We know that's red that he doesn't need.
So it's like a red liquid in that chalice. And that red liquid is turning into rupees.
It's just wrong red. Now, Fouton has gone after some red here. It's trailing him.
I expect Fouton after this, if the boots are not here, he's going to go to Catfish. Because otherwise, we do not have another good time to get to Catfish.
Yep. Catfish then becomes an orphaned location. And Pyramid Fairy has... There they are! At 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 7 seconds, Fouton leads Pug Trio to be the first into what we call Go mode. It was just a case there, JP, where Phant had the opportunity. Just never got over to Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah. I mean, he had Pyramid Fairy available first. He just went for other checks, which you can't blame him for, but it's just unfortunate.
But there's a strategy in play that some runners like to use. And that was unfortunately what Phant did not do. If you do something you want to test the advantage of making that play. And Phant never tested the true ability of that advantage. You got nothing out of Misery Mire, so check the Pyramid Fairy to really see if that was an advantage or if it just turned out to be a dud. And unfortunately, Phant just went the other direction and gave Fouton all that time back.
He's going for Pyramid Fairy right now.
He is. And the unfortunate part right now is that it puts him a few minutes behind, but this race isn't done and over with yet. We still have this thing called Ganon's Tower to deal with.
Yeah, looking at where Phant is, I'd put him... Yeah, he's going to be about 2 to 3 minutes behind, especially... Because if he sees the silver arrows on the way up to GT, he's going to pick him up if he doesn't get a tempered.
Yeah. Yeah, because you don't want to have to deal with 24 spins in Stage 4, if you can avoid it. And also helps against the Lamos here, which Fouton is... whoa, that was a nice second hit.
I suppose we should start this game since that is Fouton's 7th crystal.
It is indeed his 7th crystal, and therefore it is time for us to make a guessing game with a whole bunch of numbers into chat. Now, I know how this game is played. You know how this game is played. Get us started here, JP.
Alright, 22 chests in Ganon's Tower. One of them has the Ganon's Tower big key. Get your guess in chat, 1 to 22, if there's any numbers left at this point, about where you think the GT big key will be.
I'm going to guess it's going to be in chest number 3, which isn't really a chest at all.
You're going for the torch.
I'm going for the torch this time. What about you?
I want some chance for divergence in GT. Maybe give Phant a chance to catch up. So I'm going to go 18.
Oh, you want a right side big key, don't you?
Yeah.
You're mischievous.
What is Phant? Is Phant going to look for a tempered?
He's checking for a tempered.
Interesting play. I mean, if he finds one in here, maybe he was just checking that chest for tempered. Yep, that's it. Okay, that chest was.
Oh, you weren't gonna find it. You weren't gonna find it there either.
Yeah,
because you knew that was gonna be a small key.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, here we go, Freds. As Fouton has the 7 crystals circling around. The barrier has been opened. Ganon's Tower is available. 22 checks. Let us go. 26 points up for grabs for the winner of this big key guessing game. What's over here on the right-hand side?
We got some bombs and some bombs.
13 bombs in all, but Link can only carry 10.
Here's your guess number 3. Well, I know people want to burn the book. I think that's the closest you're gonna get.
Alright, well, that's a no there. So, number 4, we find a compass. Number 5 is a small key. Over here to the top right, we find a red rupee. And over here in the bottom right, it's going to be another key. And while the Fouton has done that, Phant has now found crystal number 7 to make his way into Ganon's Tower. Now, you can't just go full right. But maybe you Dark Magician it.
That is a possibility, though. I expect Phant is going to check chests on the way up to GT. And since he hasn't been in Super Bunny yet, or Hookshot Cave, he's probably going to check both of those, which might actually be bad, because he will not see silvers.
Fouton going into the portal now is going to be checking what is going to be chest number 9 here for those playing this guessing game. And it is a small key. A 3-minute advantage here for Fouton, all depending on what happens here in this Ganon's Tower. To try to push his team to remain undefeated here in season number 3 of this league, the Pug Trio to lead the Kakariko division. Or co-lead it. There's the Ice Rod. Next check is what we call Bomb's Chest. It's going to be number 14.
Yeah, as we expect, Phant is checking Hookshot Cave. Those silvers are just a little bit away, but he's not gonna get them.
Well, here's the question. Did he see them earlier?
He might have, actually.
There's a possibility. Does he walk up? No, he does not. Never mind. Number 14 is a no. And therefore, it looks like Fouton's going to have the major advantage of the silver arrows. And 6 arrows later, the Armos Knights are done. $15, $16, $17. It is on the right-hand side. Now, I would be really, really nervous if this was a key sanity seed, JP.
Why is that?
Because we got the book and we also got the shovel here in GT.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Phant is likely going to follow the exact same route as Fouton. So, we are almost out of chest in the basement of GT. We still are on Master Sword.
Don't worry, Tempered Sword was in Turtle Rock.
What about Gold Sword?
Bomble's tablet. Number 18 is our next check, and it's number 18 is a no. Number 19 is a no. Number 20, no. 21, no. It's Tile Room.
So that means whoever made the standard 22 guess first wins this one.
Let's go ahead and see who has this, because we know it's going to be here. Foxycon, rather, is the first one to guess 22. Only 3 people guessed Tile Room. Ranger of Void and Squirrely Ball 22 getting the 5 points bonus for guessing as well.
We're going to be climbing GT without a Tempered Sword, which is fine. These runners are fine with that, but that's even more of an advantage to Fouton at this point because he did get those silver arrows.
And there is the big key, and Fouton's going to get his refreshment of magic first before climbing the tower. That's smart play right there, because you're going to want to have that magic for the 4th floor. Although walking into an anti-fair is not a good way of maintaining your magic, by the way.
Now, just a heads up for what's coming up after this. We do have one more race on for this week. Coming up in the right after this one on this channel. We have the Immortals and Waffle House drive-thru to finish off this week.
And then we turn the page after that and go to week number 3. As we've mentioned before, it's going to be casual boots.
I mean, this is probably our last boots hunts for probably until week 5.
Week 5 being the mystery week.
Because week 3 you start with them, and week 4 is a spoiler log.
Yeah, so your navigator, your pilot, whatever you want to call it, he knows where your roots are.
The question is if he or she will just tell you where they are.
And now making his way over toward the right-hand side. While Fouton is now finishing up with the gauntlet. Switches on over to the silver arrows. 3 silver arrows will kill Lammo 2. I thought he was a little early on that first silver arrow. Luckily got him down, but was early on the 3rd silver arrow and had to take a second round. Still better than half of my Lammo 2s, which take 4 rounds, 5 rounds, 7 rounds.
Which is an interesting thing to think about, and something, if you are a runner of this, fights like that are good to practice because of that exact reason. Like, the faster those are guaranteed fights you have to take care of every time.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to clear those as fast as possible is always a good place to focus.
And the only time you're not going to have those fights is when you have Randomizer. But that's a problem for week number 7.
Yeah, that'll be week 7.
I see coming up next for our final round or week 3 match as we check the final chest of this 6th floor. Still no tempered sword.
Phant has to dance because he did not pick up the cape and swamp. And we have only 1 chance left for a tempered.
Fouton pulling out the hammer once again for this Moldorm 2 fight. Gets the sword spin to finish him off. Final chest. It's the map.
So we are going to forever be wondering where those extra swords were.
And while we do that, we will let you know that the upcoming here, as JP had mentioned just a few moments ago, at 8:10 p.m. Eastern, we have our final match of week number 3. Hula Ninja versus Salty Fry, the Immortals versus the Waffle House Drive. Yoda Monistic is going to have the call along with Tracy M. Stay tuned, that's coming up in about 23 minutes from now here on Speed Gaming 4, once we got all said and done with this match.
So with the Master Sword, each of the first 2 phases for Fouton will be 12 spins. He does at least have silver arrows for the last phase, so he will not have to do the 52 spin Ganon.
Yeah, but that's something we're going to have to see from Phant coming up in just a few.
Which would you rather do, 52 spin Ganon or 52 card pickup?
52 card pickup is less tense.
That's fair.
I don't have somebody firing fire bats at me with a crumbling 4 and making things go dark when I'm doing 52 card pickup.
What if it was a 52 card pickup race?
that forfeit.
Okay.
Because my fingers get in my way. Like, my fingers will be flumming so badly that it will become 52 card pickup, and then I'll have to pick up another 36 because I just dropped those cards.
But Fouton is already on phase 3 as we've been talking about that.
Well, that's understandable. I mean, knowing how to do Master Sword Ganon definitely helps out. Also, while we're talking about Master Sword Ganons and Link to the Past and whatnot, shoutouts to Glenn, who got Link to the Past into GDQ, AGDQ 2021.
Ooh. John takes a fire bat hit. Still fine,
And-
though.
Yeah, thankfully he had no bounce back. And there it is, the final of the Silver Arrows goes into Ganon, and it's going to be Fouton keeping Pug Trio undefeated in the Kakariko division, improving to 4-0, and sending the Sexy Ganons to a 1-3 record. Finishes up as he goes through the gate. What's the time?
Official time is 1:38:51.
1 hour 38:51. Very solid time there for Fouton on what turned into be the 40-minute long search for where in the world is our gosh darn boots. As I mentioned before, it's not going to get any easier. I mean, none of these divisions are easy, but it's not going to get any easier for the Sexy Gans next week when they have to face off against the Komodo Hypers. But Pug Trio facing off against We Are and the Imposters. It'll be interesting because when they finally face off against the 2019 Titans Mitts of 2019, it'll be week number 6, the All Dungeons Key Sanity Week.
And as Phant stops there, we can now confirm that he forfeit the race after Fouton finished.
Yep. Aware of where he was in the finish. And we'll go ahead and get our runners in here to see if they want to go ahead and talk about things. Give you a little more time to get things set up for the upcoming race at 8:10 p.m.
I think we got to get the invites to our runners to see if they want to join us.
Yep. Bear with us for just a moment here. And we will begin here by talking to our winner of this race, Fouton, to send Pug Trio to a 4-0 record. GG.
Thanks. And GG's to Phant as well, although, there we are. GG's Phant.
Yo, GG's.
So we should just pretty much dub the stream, where in the world is our gosh darn boots?
Indeed. Yeah, you know, the boots that make the game really fun to play. That's just being the
Yeah.
Probably my least favorite Go mode item is the boots, because, like, man, everything
Yeah.
feels so awful without them.
And especially in the seed where we got everything so early that they could have been in like 100 different places. So not only does whoever finds it first have a good advantage on they're in Go mode first, but on top of that, they run faster.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was nerve-wracking.
So I do want to ask Phant this question. You had done Misery Mire, and you had put off doing the Pyramid Fairy. Any reason behind that decision?
Well, Misery Mire was a 5/6, right? So
Yes, it was.
I needed to do it in order to do Pyramid Fairy.
Right, but my question was more, why didn't you do Pyramid Fairy right after doing Misery Mire?
Oh, because I had Skullwoods
Mm-hmm.
to do, and I was just like basically going for density,
Right,
and
that's understandable.
yeah, and statistically, it's like, you know, Pyramid Fairy is like a weaker area for having. It's like, yeah, we had 5/6, but
Mm-hmm.
You know, at that point, I felt like it was just play for density. I didn't
Mhm.
feel a need to rush Pyramid Fairy. I was just like, let's be as efficient as possible, doing all these checks. And yeah, if I did Pyramid Fairy first, I think it would have turned out differently.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Fouton ended up doing the Skull Woods play when you did Misery Mire, so that was you first to doing the 5/6 crystals. And as we now know, the boots were at the Pyramid Fairy, but of course we had no way of knowing that. For a while, there's a potential that it could have been very well behind the first 4 and Thieves Town that both of you decided to go ahead and leave after doing the first 4.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's actually kind of funny because I intentionally skipped it because I thought I was at Thieves Town late, and I was like, if Phant has done this, I lose, so I am not touching this.
Yeah, I wasn't too concerned about that because essentially everything else, like you had the light world world tour, to get everything you needed. You needed to go to the Hera basement to get the mirror. You need to go to Zora to get your hook shot, and then like that to get your glow. So by that point, upon first entering Dark World, uh, you had so much stuff, and then from there I was just like focusing on clearing crystal dungeons, and basically everything else in the seed was on the way. Yeah, the hammer, the mitts, the fire rod, ether medallion, all of that. So I didn't even go into the Village of Outcast area until I had 7 crystals basically. That was when
Yeah.
my first entrance to Village of Outcast was at
Yeah.
7 crystals. And I don't
The-
think that would be uncommon to have like a lot of people route that way, with
Yeah.
what we had access to early on.
What is
Yeah.
interesting is that the two of you, once we got the Dark World access by way of getting the mirror out of the Tower of Hera, you both had similar routes. You both ended up doing Swamp Palace first, into doing Palace of Darkness, into Ice Palace.
Oh, really?
It was right
Yeah, it
after
seemed to
that
make the
when you
most
both of
sense to
you.
me.
It
Yeah,
was
I
right
really
after
like
that.
that idea.
It was right after that when you guys decided to split up.
So were we
Yeah.
pretty close at that point, just routing wise, just going back and forth there?
Yeah, you were close. Fouton had a little bit of a lead, and we were kind of speculating that what you needed to do was make a move that Fouton wasn't making at that point, because he did gain a little bit of advantage from you. He did not check Eastern until he had the bow.
Yeah, I saw the bow location. I was like, dang it.
That's rough, yeah. I felt like my light world just worked perfectly into itself. I got real lucky with the routing on that.
Yeah, you were getting phenomenal luck early on in this run, and then pretty much everything just dried up when it became the search for the one item for go mode for 30 minutes.
Oh yeah. I knew at that point it'd be, yeah. I think this race can be decided who guesses correctly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I definitely agree that basically that was the solution to this one. It was
I
either
might-
who guesses correctly or who dries up everything and has nothing left first.
Yeah. So I do go in, and Fouton had a little bit of an execution advantage on me. I think. I think he's more experienced in ALTTP in general.
And do you know where the silver arrows turned out to be?
Yeah, on the floating island. That was a complete mental lapse there. Just forgot to check it when I was up there.
Fouton checked
Because
when he
towards
was in
the end
go
there,
mode.
Yeah, I made the
Yeah.
mistake of skipping it on the first check as well, but when I was searching for the boots and I really wanted to do the mountain, I had checked it along with Turtle Rock because I was worried I'd be going back there, and I just wanted to make sure.
You know, the secondary title for this seed could have been, "Where in the world is our gosh darn swords?"
Yeah, I don't know if anybody has access to a spoiler log for this one. I kind of want to know. Probably Turtle Rock or
Yeah, I'm feeling
or
Turtle
something.
Rock on that.
Turtle
one.
Rock Laser Bridge for Swords 3 and 4. Wouldn't surprise me.
I could quickly check with some cheaties.
Hey, go for it. Yeah, Turtle Rock seems to. I mean, between the two of us, I think we pretty much probably cleared out everything else. Maybe it was locked by the book on that torch.
I was gonna say, I
Pedestal.
think there was still a possibility that it was locked behind something mischievous like that. It was the rebound rod that was on the pedestal.
Rebound rod.
Yep.
Did
So
Red
you check
Boomerang?
the second chest in Pyramid Fairy? Because I definitely skipped that one.
50
I
rupees.
did, yeah.
Okay. Whew.
At
I
that
was like,
point,
oh,
because I
that
was like,
better
I
not
want
have
a
been a sword,
sword,
but I'm not going back.
Silvers. But I guess at that point, you already had Silver's knowledge by the time you picked up the boots. So, yeah. But
Yeah, he had the
sword would've been
silvers
nice.
when he got the boots. He ended up having silvers for Vitreous.
Yeah. Yeah, Master Sword, Vitreous. That's not
Yeah, that's a nightmare. I hate doing that one.
Also, were you a little curious about that? By the way, GG's in your Ganon fight, Phant.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Were you a little curious about what you left behind in Swamp?
Yeah, what was in there?
Cape.
Okay. Okay. Good thing it wasn't needed.
Yeah, we
That
know.
would have made the silverless portion of, or at least the first two phases of Ganon a lot easier.
Yeah.
But at that point, like, I already had forfeited, but I figured I'd go through and let the credits roll for the stat screen at the end. I think the league wants those or uses those. I wanted to at least give them that information. So
All right,
took it a little bit slower, stocked on potions, and just took them out.
I've got one final question I want to ask both of you before we end up wrapping things up. And we do need to wrap things up because we do have the final week 2 race coming up here in 10 minutes. Stay tuned for that. So I'm going to first ask Fouton, of the remaining 5 modes that we're going to be playing in weeks 3 through 7, which of the modes are you most looking forward to?
Honestly, I don't fully remember them. Let me bring up a spreadsheet real quick because I got a nice list on it.
Well,
Casual boots, spoiler keys.
Oh, probably spoiler keys. Those are the teamwork ones are so fun.
And
I
then-
do like all the modes available. Like casual boots is a great time. Mystery is always fun, and all the co-op stuff is a great time. But I think the piloting is just hilarious. It's such a good time. Last time when Andy and I did it, our opponents went into a pendant dungeon by accident thinking it was a crystal, and we just panicked because we thought we messed up. It was just a blast.
Meanwhile, I got stuck with the 5-heart green male AGA 1 and found myself 9 minutes behind my opponents.
Unfortunate.
Also,
yeah.
The
Fun times.
tidbit on Laser Bridge, all that was there was a mirror shield.
Oh, fun.
How appropriate.
All right, same question goes to you, Phant.
Yeah, I think I'm also looking forward to co-pilots. So yeah, week 4, the spoiler log, key sanity co-pilot. Again, just anything co-op related in randomizers, I just have like an absolute blast with, regardless win or lose. I know we're going up my team against Error 216, who are pretty dang good. I say up there with a Pug Trio in terms of overall skill. I think those two teams are going to top our group. So it's going to be tough because they're better than I am. I'm going to be racing one of those. So I'm going to need to practice a lot and make sure I can do these low percent strats because as fun as they are terrifying because you're optimizing as little health, as little upgrades, as little mail upgrades. Because like a lot of times, swords are going to be in awful spots that if you know where everything is, like why would you go all this way, spend 4 minutes to get a sword? You're not going to get that time back.
Absolutely.
And it just makes things so much more terrifying. And then as week 7, the co-op info share for Randomizer, that's also a great one because we opened this up with just co-op all dungeons. Yeah, so that's always fun. Like I would love a league where it's just like co-op every week, but
I'm looking forward to week 6, by the way.
Oh, the all dungeons key sanity. Yeah,
All dungeons key sanity, and that's when my team gets your team there, Phant.
Oh man! All right. Well, I wanna race against you, Rick.
Well, we'll see how the times line up when we get to that point. JP, anything you want to add?
No, I think you covered it all. We unfortunately do have to probably wrap up here pretty quick because our next race is 7 minutes away at this point.
Yeah, Rick,
Absolutely.
what's this next match? Tell us about it.
Yeah, that's right. Coming up next here on Speed Gaming 4, it's the final match of week number 2. Featuring Hula Ninja versus Salty Fry, the Immortals versus Waffle House Drive. Edai Monistic and Tracy M will go ahead and talk about things, but before we do that, special thanks to Mindful Beast who did the button clicking for us here on the tracking. Also, thank you to both of our runners, Fouton and Phant, for giving us a great show. I'm Adirondack Rick. I'm going to let JP say the final words for this match. Until next time, have yourselves a great night. JP, you give us the last word.
Yep, thanks for joining me, Rick. Thanks to our tracker. Thanks to our racers. Make sure to give them a follow if you haven't. And stick around, take a quick break, get a snack, and join us back here in 6 minutes for our final race in week 2.